Development, which is Jen Andrews with Elizabeth Slater.
Union Development Officer. The Union Development Officer leads on events and activities in on-campus venues, guides the union's sustainable practices, fundraising and volunteering, and aims to enhance the vibrancy of the student community. They are also responsible for student nights out. Key responsibilities include developing fundraising opportunities, collaborating with the York SU events team, and improving sustainability within the union.
Hello everyone, I'm Liz Slater. I'm here with Jen Andrews, incumbent Union Development Officer. Say hi, Jen.
Hiya.
So first of all, my first question for you, why are you rerunning?
I think there's just a lot of stuff that I still want to do. We spoke about this a lot as SABs, and I feel like you spend quite a bit of your first year like learning what's what. Some things are like insanely complicated, and I feel like now I know what I want to do with like what I've learned, so it'll be a shame if I couldn't use it. And also it's such a cool job. Like, I'll never do this again. I'm not going to be an MP, so I'll never run an election again. So,
No,
yeah.
that's completely valid. So speaking of things that you do want to do, one of the key things in your manifesto is you want to reform the latte levy. But it doesn't really mention any actionable steps. So what do you plan to do to reform it specifically?
Yeah, so do you mind if I explain a little bit about it?
Go
Because I
ahead.
feel like this is one of the complicated things. Essentially, if you buy a coffee or a hot drink in a venue and you don't have a reusable cup, you'll be charged 35p extra as a levy to like try and persuade you to use a reusable cup. This money should then go, or does go, into a pot called the latte levy, which should be then spent on sustainable projects. But the uni isn't sharing the accounts with us, so we've asked them multiple times. We want like a proper process by which these funds are allocated. So I've started conversations about these, and I ended up thinking part of the way I could use my campaign, my elections campaign to campaign for like change in the role is to bring light to this issue. So that's kind of one of the steps that I hope to be able to achieve them, to publish the accounts, basically, to put a bit of pressure on and make sure that they're aware that students care.
And then do you have a plan with what happens to that money once you find out where it is?
Yeah, so first of all, hopefully it's all been accounted for and spent in the right place. We think that they don't really have a clear plan of how to like spend the money at the end of the year, so we don't know what's happening with this money at the end of the year, whether it rolls over or whether it gets absorbed by the university and into their general costs, which obviously shouldn't be the case. So we sort out whether that's been happening or whether it hasn't been happening, and then ensure that they publish the accounts every year and that there's a proper panel to award that money, like most other funds have an awarding panel where you submit a bid to, so that process is formalised and transparent, because at the moment it isn't.
Perfect, thank you. And then also a point that you bring up is a loyalty point system within Yorkshire venues, but it looks like this already exists, presumably under you as the previous sabbatical officer. Are you planning on developing it more? What's happening with that?
I mean, there isn't one. You correct me, but well, there's one in like uni venues, so like the library cafe, or basically any university venue that you go into. It will be on the UOY app, and there's like the card, but those don't work in SU venues.
Oh, okay.
So SU venues are separate, and basically it's the best. Why do they have them in uni venues and not in SU venues?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. You've also recently secured £10,000 to go towards volunteering. That's pretty big. But the question I wanted to ask is why volunteering specifically, and why isn't that money going towards other things like accommodation, for example?
I mean, part of it is that it's part of my remit, so that's kind of what I'm fighting for that. And I think volunteering is an area which is pretty underfunded and under-recognised. So when I started uni, and even to be frankly honest with you, before I started this job, I assumed volunteering broadly referred to like you guys in student media and myself as a college president, who are all also volunteers. But volunteering projects are a specific thing, separate from societies and other student groups, where they're going into care homes and prisons and things like that and trying to build up the community. But they're and Night Safer are a really good high profile group. But they're not recognised at all, really, and a lot of them are having to pay out to go to the places to volunteer, which just isn't right. So yeah, that's kind of and also the problem is all of the funding is allocated at the beginning of the year, but we're trying to build volunteering projects up. So there's like 15 of them, which is way less than societies. But the problem is, the more volunteering projects we get, there's no contingency funding to give them money to run for the first year. So they'd have to wait until the new year comes around, and then they could like properly start up. So basically, Best Fund is kind of wanting to help that. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. And in your sustainability segment, it talks about having a corporate and social responsibility policy. What specifically does that mean for this university?
So it's specifically union focused. And I don't know whether you've seen a lot, but the union often, especially for companies that we maybe invite to freshers or welcome fair now, or like Domino's has been a specific one picked up that we partner with, and a lot of unions partner with, as potentially not like Amazon come to our welcome fair, and all of these companies potentially don't have the best record. Maybe they don't align with the unions goals, but there's no real policy to guide who we should and shouldn't be a partner with. It's just vibes based by people, well-meaning people who work at the union, but potentially not that aware of like the specifics of the ethics of different companies. And I think it also bounces off the fact that if we're holding the uni to such account on where their money is going, and ensuring that they divest from money fueling like fossil fuels and arms and things like that, we can't then as a union be supporting companies who do the exact same thing. So I think, we can't be an effective union holding the uni to account if we're on the side doing exactly the thing that we're criticising, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay, understood. And then as well with sustainability issues, you say that you want to track all carbon emissions made by the university. How do you plan on doing that?
So this again is a union like specific thing, and it's building off two things. So in my first year, I ran on a manifesto of wanting like carbon emissions trackers, on making it public so that students can hold the union to account. And we've got that this year on commercial service menus. So like if you go into Courtyard, you'll see like the little Clamato sticker will say your pizza is a B rated product, which is pretty good for carbon emissions. And we've done a full carbon audit of commercial services, which is amazing, really good. And the only way we can't reduce what we don't know. So if we don't know what the carbon output is, we can't really do that much work to actively reduce it. But we don't have these figures for the central union activity, which means that I can't fully complete my first year manifesto if we don't have that. So it's kind of to finish that off. And it's also another bit that links onto this holding the uni to account. So the uni have these figures, but we don't. So yeah, it's kind of bringing ourselves up to parity and really having everything that we need to make the right judgments.
Okay, that makes sense. And then finally, one last question for you. Why should people vote for you?
I think they should vote for me because I'm incredibly passionate about this job. Like, I love it so much. It's a wild, crazy job. I think this is a broad role, and I cover all of it in my manifesto. It's not events or sustainability or volunteering, it's and so it's really important that you have a union development officer who covers all of those. Otherwise, every year something gets forgotten. I'm also incredibly passionate about like championing student voices, and I've done that a lot in my sustainability work, for instance the Environment and Social Responsibility Forum, and I'd really love the year to like build that up and really establish it. There's a lot of things that I've been able to start but haven't been fully established yet, so I'd love a second year to be able to do that.
That makes sense. And do you think you're going to be able to make an actual difference?
Yeah, I really do. And I think the second year is often where SABs can put into action everything that they've learnt on the first year, and all those like little nitty gritty bits that you would never know as a student and you learn as a SAB. And I've already achieved a lot, and I really just want to build on it. So I do think a second year would allow me to do that.
Okay, that's good. And so just building off of that, is there anything that you would say to other people that are maybe coming into a SAB role for the first time that you're going to get the opportunity to potentially work with?
Yeah, I would say embrace it at all its like wild opportunity. You get to speak to so many people. That's what I've loved about this role, from all sorts of walks of life. There's friends I've made this year that I'd never have met those people before. So just embrace all of those things.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So that was Jen Andrews, the incumbent Union Development Officer. Very good luck with your campaign.
Thank you.
We've now got another debate going on for union development, I believe, with Joe Venables. Tune in, keep listening, I presume, for that. But that should be all good. Thank you very much for coming to the interview.
Union Development Officer.